We're back with our roundtable. Of course, John, Susan, and Jonathan. You know, Jonathan, back not too many years ago, the people in Illinois on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, were pretty close. You know, people like Bob Michael and Rostenkowski used to drive out to Illinois every weekend together in a station wagon with two other people of different parties. There's a lot of political, I could call it camaraderie, if you will, comfort in each other's company politically. I'm not sure this is a partisan thing at all. I think they're going to feel bad about this in both parties, about this, what went on with him and the kid, apparently, and the student as a bad thing, but also just tragedy all around them now. This is just bad.
Well, right, and that clip from Mayor Emanuel sort of exemplifies what you're talking about and what we were talking about in the last segment. This is the last person you thought this would happen to. His reputation, Denny Hastert's reputation in Washington and on Capitol Hill and as Speaker was one of someone squeaky clean, someone who, because he was squeaky clean and so ethically pure, so we thought, then, that, you know, he could stand on his own reputation. And when you see something like this happen to someone with that kind of reputation, partisanship goes aside, and you can only feel mournful for that person, for that person's family in particular, but also for the people of their particular state who voted that person into office.
John Stanton, you know, you alluded to it earlier, but during the course of Speaker Hastert's term as Speaker, there was the case of Mark Foley down in Florida where he was, I think he had problems, obviously, but he was, you know, flirting or whatever with kids in the Page dorm. You know, that kind of thing was going on. And I guess that's all going to be brought back now.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I think people are definitely going to look at how the Speaker handled it. He was criticized at the time, frankly, over his handling of it and not sort of immediately, you know, pushing Representative Foley out and sort of some of the ways that he and his staff dealt with that. And I think, but, you know, if you remember back then, the question really wasn't, the political question wasn't so much the, you know, inappropriate relationship that Foley was having with this boy in the Pages group, but that how leadership handled it. And I think even then, you know, people tried to keep, you know, from politicizing the bad act itself and more try to keep it on sort of how he acted. But I don't think there's any chance that this isn't going to come back again and be a topic of conversation.
Susan, what's this tell you about the inside of politics? Does this make you think, oh my God, I thought I knew these guys, or that someone like Mark Foley was the odd man out, and maybe there's more of a problem here with dealing with children, young people, than and adult responsibility is probably the overall rubric here. How do you deal with your responsibilities as an adult in the company of teenagers?
Well, yeah, I mean, and look, there's something else going on here. If he's having relationship with an underage boy, and we don't know whether he was underage, that has a whole different connotation to it than if it was, you know, if it wasn't a student, obviously, and just another adult. But I think John's right. I mean, it just brings back their handling of the issue, but it's a separate thing than some of the other stuff that's gone on, some of the corruption things. You know, Aaron Schock, the one who had his office redone in Downton Abbey, nobody was sorry to see that guy go. Nobody thought that he was this sort of serious, stellar public servant. But I think what's so painful about this is that Denny Hastert really did sort of exemplify to people the idea of just a serious, solid public servant. And if something like this can happen involving him, you just don't know whom you can trust anymore, really, on the Hill. I think that the institution takes a big hit because of this.
The roundtable's staying with us, and up next, the fight against Alzheimer's. Are we doing all we can to beat this deadly disease?